get into it. We can get into it. Body fluids on the floor, get into it like a hood. We can get into it. We can get into it. Body fluids on the floor, get into it like a hood. What's the motion? Swing a right finger with a left, going straight. Take the heart out his chest. Nut buck in the club. Homegirls lose the heel saying, fuck my new curls and fuck them bum bitches. They talk like they hands on Mike Tyson. It's killed to be killed when I'm fighting. My sisters not watching, they jumping like double dutch. They like transition, cause violence is given. Soft bitches is tripping.
Rita Repulsa, enemy of the Power Rangers! Are you unhappy with your penis size? Haha, I can help with Rita's Magic Wand Natural Male Enhancer!
What do you think you're doing?
The mortgage on our moon palace is due! I'm starting a side business! Unless you think you'll be conquering Earth anytime soon!
Hey, don't use my name, alright?
As I was saying, Rita's Magic Wand Natural Male Enhancer really works! Just call me when you need help, and I'll make your penis grow!
So, what happens again?
I'm supposed to say, Rita, make my penis grow. And then...
What the fuck?
Oh my god, I take it back! I take it back!
Another monster hog, Power Rangers. Let's beat it off. The planet. Our punches aren't having any effect.
Oh, yeah they are!
It's as hard as steel.
That's a Rita Repulsa guarantee!
My God, help me!
Hold on! I'm leaving a review for Rita's Magic Natural Wand Male Enhancer. 2 stars!
What the hell is the second star for?
Well, technically it works.
We can't let it destroy any more of Angel Grove. Let's use the Power Sword.
Roll the phone number! Roll it!
Rita Repulsa not responsible for destruction of property mutilated penises or Power Ranger battles.
Let me make your penis grow!
What's up, guys? Welcome to Dudes Ruin.
Yo, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Bender,
It's your boy Kels.
and we got some crazy things. We got some new
Yes.
news.
Some new news.
Today we'll be talking about men's mental health.
Men's mental health, guys. As you may or may not know, there's an actor from Power Rangers by the name of Jason David Frank, who unfortunately recently was revealed in the news he had committed suicide.
This whole thing really hasn't changed me. I mean, I just get recognized now, you know, by kids and stuff. It's great to be able to be a positive role model on kids.
Morphin' time! Tiger Zord!
I'm Jason David Frank, and I play Tommy the White Ranger.
E.T. looks back at our time with Jason David Frank as his Power Rangers co-stars speak out following his death.
You know, everything we've been through together.
Hi, it's Amy Jo. Just thinking about Jason a lot, and I hope you guys are okay. I know how much you all meant to him.
You know, it's crazy with the Power Ranger movie, with the consistency of the brand, because I'm signing the, things for little kids, and then their parents are fans, and their moms know who I am. So it's like 3 different generations.
1, 2, 3.
Go, go, Power Rangers! Very important question. Why do you think that Tommy and Kimberly did not end up together?
Well, Kimberly wrote me that letter. Kimberly, you wrote me that breakup letter.
That was the meanest, coldest thing I've ever seen on a show.
It was all right. I moved on.
But
Kimberly, I forgive you. I forgive you, Kimberly.
Hey, beautiful. It's time to wake up.
I don't believe it.
I know all of you are so sad. I'm thinking about all of you guys. And I'm sending you all love.
Jason tapped into his real-life skills as a mixed martial artist behind the scenes.
We'll just take a square horse stance, hands in position. We'll practice this practice stance. Do single punches. Ready? And punch! Punch!
I was on the television series, Power Rangers, had a brief stint on there. Very grateful for that. So it sort of hit home.
Welcome back, Rangers! We missed you!
Ben, did you watch Power Rangers?
I did, yeah, when I was a kid. I didn't watch all of them because they had so so many.
Yeah.
You know, like metamorphs and this and that, but I loved them. I loved Power Rangers as a kid.
Yeah, Rangers, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to be Red Ranger.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I grew up watching Power Rangers. So I actually watched Power Rangers from its very inception, from like the very, very, very first season. Like, yeah, I watched it. So, which makes me sound like I'm ancient, but I'm young, and crispy, young and
still
crispy.
good.
Exactly. But anyhow, yeah. So when Power Rangers during its inception, it was a very diverse show. When it was just naturally diverse, there was no hidden Hollywood agenda. It was just natural diversity that they opted to make a very multicultural cast. It was very organic. They had one actress named Trini. She was from Vietnamese. She's a Vietnamese actress. I think her last name was Nguyen, which is a Vietnamese last name. The main actor that was the Red Ranger, I think he was of Mexican descent, if I'm not mistaken. They had the Black Ranger, who happened to be African American. So gotta make them black.
I think they stopped that though.
Yeah.
They stopped making the Rangers to.
They sort of mixed it up. It wasn't so racial as it was then.
The Mexican Ranger, the Asian Ranger, the Black Ranger, the American Ranger, the Jewish Ranger.
But it was cool. It was
I didn't mind it, but I remember
Yeah.
they specifically didn't make the Black Ranger
black
African American.
or African anymore. Yeah. So they kind of went back into giving it to
They probably didn't do it on purpose, or maybe they did. I don't know.
I think they just wanted to switch it up. Maybe. The show was beautiful. It had people tied to the ethnic groups. It was weird. Yeah. Now you're saying that the Yellow Ranger was Asian.
That's why I said.
So
people brought it up. I remember reading about it. It was like, hey, why are they?
Maybe he knows more than I do.
I do, because it's a little like coincidental that the Yellow Ranger's Asian, the Black Ranger is African American.
Hollywood.
It's amazing. Get ready, people. Get ready.
Look at this. I want to have this body. I had to learn how to swim. Yeah.
I have my Amina Muaddi shoes, and then I have my Brandon Blackwood and systemic racism bag. Yes, this purple little number. I love.
Let's talk about that diversity and the representation.
Oh, here we go again. Representation. La representación, representaciones, las representaciones. En la representación, representaciones. Representation.
Representations. Representation.
I'm a piece of representation in gaming, and see representation on the big screen and to feel represented.
Represented.
Represent.
Representation. Represented. They're representing.
Representing.
This representation.
Exciting, right?
I mean, it's not something that we do because it's a political move, but it's because it's really good for the story.
You know, that's just too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
And then let's just say the Red Ranger is Native American. Like, come on, like.
We're just talking about the woes of Hollywood and our recent clip about Kanye West and Dave Chappelle. So feel free to check that out in the bio. But yeah, Hollywood again, doing Hollywood stuff.
The message.
Just left seeing Wakanda Forever, and I'm pissed. I am pissed because if pushing an agenda was a movie, this would be in the forefront of that. This was Woman King on steroids. If you think that I'm gonna believe 100-pound black woman soaking wet is just an almighty warrior and can just body dudes like it's no tomorrow, come on. Instead of Wakanda, it should have been called Where Are the Men? Because they was not there, they were not present, and the ones that was there was weak. But all the women that was in the movie was just brolic, built, strong Hercules. What is this saying to us? Perpetuating the idea of the strong black woman and a subservient black effeminate man. And this movie does not represent what African culture is. It doesn't represent what our culture needs to be. So, I'm good on Wakanda. Where are the men?
But long story short, so Power Rangers was a diverse show at a very time where it wasn't It was natural. It wasn't pushed upon per se. But they had this ranger that came in, and the Green Ranger was such a big deal because he was a new color out of the new group of rangers that came together. And yes, so this actor, he lived as a lifetime martial artist. He has a very beautiful, unique story. And I think from that point onward, he dedicated himself to martial arts from a very young age. His parents had put him in martial arts, but being on Power Rangers, which is sort of like a children's show, as an actor, you kind of get a hard time trying to transition out of it because people kind of perceive that, you know, maybe that's where you're at.
That's your range.
Maybe that's your actual range. And Hollywood's known for typecasting, so they'll cast somebody according to their first few roles. And if your first few roles, you happen to look very, you know, young in a child television series, they kind of box you into this thing. So
it's like action movies.
Yeah, so I think he had a lifelong battle of trying to not only prove himself as an actor, but also to continue his martial arts. People know that he's a legit martial artist. He got an MMA for a bit. Back in 2010, he was huge, man. Jacked up. So that was a brief stint in mixed martial arts. But nevertheless, he recently went through on YouTube what they call self-deletion, which, you know, they tend to try to prefer not to use the S word, you know, but he ended his life, unfortunately, due to stress. And it was stress behind a relationship that he was in. Apparently, his partner had filed for divorce a month prior. The year prior, he had a stepdaughter, and his stepdaughter ended up taking her life. Yeah. And so they were having huge relationship problems, and out of that, he decided it was overwhelming for him. It was released on the news. He got into apparently a over-the-phone altercation with his wife that he was separated from, and out of that stress, he decided to end his life.
Sequence of events in the hours leading up to his self-deletion. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Jason and his wife Tammy checked into a Texas hotel Friday. We're told the two, who are in the middle of a divorce, got separate rooms, but at some point, this strange couple got into an argument in Tammy's room. We're told staffers were told to calm things down and peace was restored. Our law enforcement sources say at some point, either late Friday night or early Saturday morning, the two got into another argument and Jason locked Tammy out of his room. Our sources say Tammy was apparently concerned for safety and called the cops around 5 a.m. Saturday morning when officers couldn't make contact with Jason. We're told hotel management let them in, and they discovered the actor hung himself in the bathroom. Damn. The TMZ broke the story of the 49-year-old's death. We're told Jason died by self-deletion. And that's that's when they did the reunite in 2018. Jason is survived by his 4 children. His rep told us he loves his family, friends, and fans very much. He will truly be missed. And you know, that's obviously a terrible situation. If you guys look on her Instagram, you know, she posted a little collage with him, you know.
Of course, now that he's gone,
of course, now that she's gonna do that dumb shit, right?
Like this what I don't understand, right, bro? Like, you can have the best setup, the best lifestyle, everything's good, but women always want chaos on some level. And I don't know why. And it's like, you knew he was not in a good space. You egg him on, you nag him. I was not there. I can only assume from what was said in the description from TMZ. Marriage to the wrong person could be the end of you, literally. And even in the Bible, like I said earlier, women destroy kingdoms. You got a kingdom, a family set up. He has 4 kids, but now that has no dad. And like, was the argument worth it? Was the whole altercation worth it? No. Over a woman, over argument. Once again, we don't know what it is. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying, from the evidence that we've seen so far, that caused him to go over the edge to do self-deletion.
Tammy's beating me up. Go ahead, show people how you really act.
Stop.
Show people
Stop.
Show people how you really act. Show people.
Stop. It's a light show.
So, for me and Binda, this has been really important. I've gotten approached at my local post office from a gentleman who's explaining to me. I overheard him in a conversation. He wasn't explaining to me actually initially, but I overheard him in a conversation talking about a friend that he had lost to suicide. and I happened to interject into the conversation because he was just sort of trying to figure out why his friend would open up to him and explain to him. He's like, man, had he came to me with his problems or talked to any of us, and it was just financial problems he was having. He couldn't afford to pay some bills. He's like, we could have helped him.
Oh man, you lost your best friend recently in depression. Teddy, here's the issue with this, dude. And thanks for tagging your friends right now. Here's the issue. People don't talk about damn mental health. That's the problem. It's like everyone's scared about it because everyone's scared that they're going to misread you. And I do a lot of poetry, man. And Jodie Benson, Little Mermaid, said, it's okay to feel the way that we feel. And people are too scared. You know, it's like they're too scared to tell someone ADD or depression or bipolar or this or that. Never be ashamed of who you are. That's number one. Never be ashamed of who you are. Scars on a tiger make the tiger strong. It shows that the tiger went through a lot. And, you know, I know people that's cut themselves, man, and they're ashamed of it, and they're hiding up the cuts. I get it. It's a scar.
Yeah, they could have pitched something together.
It was like we're all mates. He said, you know, we would see him at, you know, like gatherings and parties, and he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't tell anyone about his problems. He internalized it. Yeah. You know,
it usually is the way is the person that isn't talking, or usually the person who usually looks like everything is fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're usually the people who are battling the most.
Yeah.
And like he said, I know it's so easy to say, oh, just if you ask, it is hard. But that situation for a lot of people out there may be going through it. Yeah. You don't know that your friends might be like, that's okay. We got you for 2 months. Try de-stress. We've got your bills. Here work things out. And I think that's one of the most important things is whether it's financials, it could be something else. You know, I've helped friends with. They just needed someone to talk to, and they didn't realize that they could just talk to someone. So no issue is big or small.
Too big or too small to not open up.
Yeah, even if you think it's tiny, it's not a big deal, but it is. Like, I think it's important. Even if you think it's minute, it's not even that important, you know. Yeah. Or you think it's too big for someone to handle. You have to remember, like Kels was saying, you don't know what your friend might be going through. They may have gone through that and been like, yo, I went through that big thing you're going through. I actually know how to help you, you know, get over it. Or overcome it, sorry.
Yeah.
He comes back 3 years later really messed up in his head, really emotional. But you got to heal those, because in the movie I was really messed up playing Eric Reed. I had to and Howard Fine said this, be very careful. Pulling those emotions, you can't just pull and let go. Pulling those emotions, you have the residual August next year in theaters and different platforms. You have it's dangerous because you have leftover residual pain. Like, I pull pain from when my brother died. I pull pain from when my mom died. I got a lot of things going on, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stuff. And Michael Madsen said he had anxiety too, but you got to use it for the scene. So for 3 months I was messed up. That's what she sacrificed for acting. And that's why a lot of actors die, because they don't know how to get rid of that pain, that trauma. Heath Ledger, Robert Williams, all these people, it must be their mind just doesn't stop, and it goes and goes and goes. I deal with a lot of mental problems too, but I have an outlet. I have social media, I write, I have an outlet. You know, you can go, you can see someone, you can see a doctor for it. There's medication out there. You can take medication if you're into that. And most people say, you don't know what it feels like to have depression. Dude, I've been through so much in life. I'm 48 years old. I'm still dealing with stuff. It's hard. It's hard to make the right choices, but I didn't make the wrong choices. I haven't drank in 12 years just because I just haven't. It was choice. Anyway, I just want to tell you all that. But check out Thank You for my poetry. It's on JDFFFN. I think I'm going to release a book. Got like 40 poems on it. I wish I had it on paper because I can read you one of the poems that I felt during quarantine.
One thing that that's also true when you're opening up to someone, and maybe it might be something you can relate to. One thing to bear in mind, I would say, is I took a conflict resolution course, which deals with knowing how to resolve conflicts, whether that's in a family setting or in a professional setting. It's a specialized course. It's not something most people take.
Yeah, I was gonna say. No.
I just happened to stumble across this course, and at the time I had someone that I was involved with, and they were taking. How do I put it? They were studying something in regards to mediation. They're doing a course in mediation, and it got suggested for them to do a conflict resolution course so they can learn how to resolve problems amongst two peers in either a family setting or a social setting, professional setting, anything of that sort. And one of the key things they pointed out is that when someone else is having a problem, it's better for you to listen to what they have to say and do your best to ask questions to allow them to express themselves. Often, they said things that can become a problem when someone else is going through something and you're trying to advise them is that sometimes you can take the attention off the person that has a problem and then put the attention on yourself. And it's indirect thing that happens. It's accidental. It's not intentional.
Yeah, of course.
Because as humans, we want to relate to people.
Yeah.
So, like in terms of what Bender was saying, when he was saying, you may have someone that you know that you can go, oh wait, I went through something similar.
Yeah.
So, even though you can point that out, what may have helped you in some sort of capacity, but bear in mind to not rush and bulldoze the other person with not allowing them to get across specifically what they're going through, because you can accidentally either take the light off them or accidentally misadvise them because you're so caught up in yourself and wanting to compare your journey with their journey that you can take the light off them, and they end up not feeling heard. They hear you and they're going, wow, you're very excited to tell me about your story,
your old story.
But you didn't hear anything about me. You also didn't ask me any questions.
100%. I think what he said is 100% correct. You definitely need to ask questions because it may be the same situation but slightly different.
Yeah.
So again, listening is probably the most important thing.
Ask them questions about what they're going through, and this is also something that therapists tend to do when they're in therapy. When someone's in therapy, therapists will ask you questions over and over again and get you to express yourself. And it's an indirect way of trying to get you to answer your own questions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because if you're able to answer your own questions, then at the same time, you're also able to figure out for yourself, wow, that actually is what was going on. And I've just said what was going on, even though I couldn't figure out that that's what was occurring. I just said it out loud.
Yeah.
You know, so it's to get you to become more aware of the order of events that led you to that point, you know, in your mental health and what's going on.
David Yost penned a heartfelt tribute on Instagram, writing, quote, "You had my heart on day one. So intelligent, so funny, so energetic. You shaped and transformed so many lives."
You know, it's important for the kids to look up to someone, and that's, you know, us for now.
What would you guys say is the question that you get asked the most at conventions?
Do you like green or white? That's the most common question I get. And then I say green, they're like, sorry, I'm a White Ranger fan. I'm like, that's still me. Like, you know what I mean?
I think after years, 3 years, you know, we always continue to change with the Ninjetti and stuff like that. It keeps the kids interested, you know, and it gives the show a whole new look. You know, I think it's important for the kids. You know, I think it's important for them to see constant change. And change is good. I mean, the kids enjoy that.
The thing is, I'm proud of Power Rangers is that we were the #1 kids show in the world.
You've been on, I believe, more episodes than anybody, like well over 200. I don't even know. Do you know how many?
I think 230-ish. Tommy was a very limited character. He's supposed to come in and out in about 10 episodes. What happened was when the Green Ranger lost his powers, people all over the world were like petitioning and telling Saban, we need, you know, kids aren't going to school. Kids aren't eating.
You're a true hero, Tommy. Thanks, guys. You know, there was a moment back there when I almost gave up. But then I realized it's not just the cosmic power that gives me strength, but it's who and what I am inside that really empowers me.
But then they brought me back as the White Ranger. And it's been about 25 years. And, you know, it's just amazing to see the fans and to see the kids grow into a whole new generation.
Guess who's back?
Therapists are sometimes good. There's some people that prefer not to recommend therapists. I would say it's challenging for each individual person. But one way that I've been able to learn to try not to fall into depression or anxiety is for me to be accountable for my role in each individual choice that I make. I think accountability can help you become more responsible and aware of what you chose.
Yeah.
You have a hand in your selection process, whether that's with an ex-partner or your current job, anything that you're unhappy with or that you were unhappy with, you had a role in that two-person situation of choosing a partner or choosing a relationship that, you know, you may not have been happy in. And you have to be aware of like, well, okay, I did have some responsibility in that and I chose it.
Like who? Do you mean government?
I'm saying everything. So like, for example, if someone gets fat, there's fat phobic. If someone has a high body count, sleeps around, they're slut shaming. Like they don't have the equivalent of that for men. In this instance, I'm saying like you get money from the government. Or from the guy. So
I wouldn't be able to comment on this because I don't personally take child support.
Right.
And I did make a decision with my baby father, but that's the choice I made and I'm dealing with it.
No, and that's the thing. I respect people that take accountability, but it's like to me, I don't think anyone should bail anyone out for their bad decisions. So if you choose to make a child with a subpar guy, I don't think you're entitled to his money. You should have picked better.
But then the man played just as much of a part to create that child as the woman.
No, because women are in charge of birth. It's your own fault if you get pregnant.
It's definitely
because we have 10 to 15 forms of birth control. Even if we get pregnant, you can get an abortion.
It's not just all men are bad. It's not just all women are terrible. You know, and you can't blanket statement one gender or one group of people. You have to look at yourself as much as possible on a individual basis and look at things best you can on an individual basis, you know. That there's not much collusion, that you need to know when something's in your hands and when something is not in your hands.
Yeah, because I was gonna say the easy things are like you get kidnapped. Well, that's not your fault. You can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
That's a situation you can look back. Oh, that traumatized me. PTSD. You can help that. So kidnap you or beat your family in front of you. That is out of your control.
Yeah.
And what he's saying, like things like, oh, yep, I went. A small example. I went to the strip club, found this lady. She cheated on me. Well.
Or took your wallet.
You took your wallet, but. You went to the strip club. Oh, maybe not the best place to go find a wife.
Yeah.
So that is in your control. No one forced you to go there. No one was like, you have to do that. You went, this is a good idea. Now, what I love, what Kels is saying is, you kind of look at your situation and go, man, I really fucked up. Take accountability. You can, of course, we can still be sad. For a brother, for a mate, I'll be like, I'll hurt. I'll be like, man, that's really shit. What happened to you? I'm glad that you can look at yourself and be like, man, that was a really bad decision that I made. How can I fix this?
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the most powerful things to do is kind of look at yourself and go, whoa, man, I really screwed that up. How can I be better? How can I do this next time that I'm not gonna put myself in this situation? Because I think one of the most dangerous things is continuously always telling yourself that, like, nah, it's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. Because you'll never heal from that.
There's some people that live their lives as in victimhood.
Yeah.
Incomplete victimization.
Yeah, that's the way I was
and take zero accountability for their role and their choices.
Men and women. There should be equality. We shouldn't treat men different compared to our women.
Patriarchy. I think that it's
it is
people
a patriarchy. It's society. It's how women are viewed in society.
There are some men who thrive and succeed because they're a man, because life is easy. Therefore, I'd be like, I would expect you.
Okay,
to have
I'm gonna give you an
income.
example. My dad's the top half a percentage of earners. Okay, he's the white man, right? But here's the thing. He worked 80 hours a week my whole life. I didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
How is that like the patriarchy when my dad put in 80 hours every week his whole life? From the time I was like a child, right? Missed a lot of shit. Like he earned that.
You can go through your entire adult life being upset at one gender because you made bad choices, and everyone is not responsible for your choices in your past. I always tell people who are looking for love and relationships in life, you have to be accountable for all of your past selections before you step into something new.
Yeah.
If you don't resolve your role in those past selections, then you'll come into a new relationship with old baggage.
Yeah.
And then you'll make someone else accountable for your past mistakes. And that new person, that is a gift in your present, to your present life. They're a gift. They're not accountable for where you just came from. You are. You're accountable for all of your past selections. And so you need to reflect on that and just make better choices. And you can find the love that you are seeking or the person that you're seeking if you can be an accountable person. Because people respect accountability. They respect ownership. They don't respect someone that is insufferable and they're blaming
the whole world,
the entire world, because that's a huge red flag. You go out on a date with someone and they immediately start bad-mouthing their ex. You got to stop them and go, whoa. What did you do in that relationship? And they go, oh, well, I didn't. I'm like, everyone has a role in a relationship. So you chose that person. So what did you need to learn about that person before you committed to it, the relationship? Did you commit without learning everything you felt you needed to learn? And if you did, then, you need to take time to ask key questions about values in the relationship. It's not exactly a specific time period that you need to commit. There's no set time period. You don't need to go, I need to make them wait 3 months or a year before I commit to them or when I sleep with them. But you need to ask this person about their values, because on dating apps right now, most people get it very conflated. They'll talk about hobbies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, your favorite things.
I want adventures.
And I want someone with 4x4.
Someone that likes hiking.
I was like, what the
I
heck?
want someone that likes jet skiing.
Anyone can like these
Someone
things.
that can listen to Alanis Morissette and also listen to DMX. It's like, these are all personal preference hobbies, but they have zero to do with values.
Yeah, 100%.
And
you could be the worst person to like all those things.
Yeah, and that's a very technical subject me and Benda can talk about at a later point, because we see on dating apps, a lot of ladies get it very conflated to mix hobbies over values. And values at the end of the day is what determines how far your relationship's gonna go. What do you believe in balance and, of a relationship and, to sustain a future and connection and connectivity. Things that are important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with going back to with therapist and with someone that needs to go see a counselor, you can choose to do so, but what some people find, and Andrew Tate got really famous for that, talking about depression, is that you can spend hours and hours talking about things that don't make you happy. And that therapist is not really in their business model to help you resolve your conflict.
I was just about to add
they'll allow
to
you to
that,
express yourself, and then they'll tell you come back next week.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, when some people 100%, if it works for you, goals.
Yeah.
The issue with humans is you have to remember not everyone is out for your best
for
interest.
your best interest, and they may not give you the tools you need from that therapy session.
Yeah.
So that you can get yourself out of that headspace without resorting to some medication. Because there's heaps of people on antidepressants, specifically a lot of women today on antidepressants. Generally speaking, because a lot of them are single, and it has a lot to do with women in the workforce, which is something that's still very new. As of post-1960s, it's still a very new thing for women to be carrying around laptops and high heels and being, in the workforce, and them trying to combat and deal with men in the workplace. And they're putting off their family for tax and for money, and so the goals are a little convoluted and different. A lot of people have lost sight of what or the beauty that comes out of a union in a relationship. People has lost sight of the benefits of men and women coming together and creating a life and having a family. Now, the Queen of England hasn't, because her value is in her family. But the corporate world is telling you, no, don't worry about a family. You go out and pay some taxes, and you take your vacation for your experience. You can put off having a baby and freeze your eggs, as though this is very common, and that's a very difficult procedure and expensive procedure. So back to
what I was saying is like what we were talking about whether people want to go see a counselor or therapist. Is what Kel said and what I said is, again, these people not all of them are for your best interest, and to decipher that is very hard. You're not going to walk in there and ask, hey, do you care about me? Hey, do you care about me? Your mum will care about you.
Yeah.
Your brother will care about you. Maybe your best friend, but they're not your therapist. This is a professional. This is someone who got a degree, and when they look at you, and I'm not saying every therapist, a lot of people, whether it's a therapist, whether it's your boss, whether it's your doctor, you are a walking dollar sign.
Yeah.
Everyone out here in this capitalistic world, whatever you want to call it,
can be monetized.
Yeah, you're out here to make money. You're not out here to be Oprah Winfrey. Okay, so
even her,
she is a business. She's a billionaire. Look at her.
She worked with Weinstein.
You know,
it's a business.
So at the end of the day, even she makes money. So whether it's people you think are very amazing and give out whatever it is, they make money. So, and I got to say this again, not all therapists. I know there are some beautiful therapists out there,
there's
but
some good human beings out there.
I cannot say to people, we're going to look out for the odd great therapist here and there. All I say is you have to remember some of these people, and I won't lie, my parents sent me to one once. It was $180 an hour.
Sessions.
So how many people on this planet get paid $180 an hour? I know most of you will not even get half of that.
Yeah.
So $180 an hour for me to tell you about very deep emotional things. And you have to remember, this person, I'm not the only person they speak to. There's maybe 10 clients, 15 clients, maybe more. I don't know.
That are on retainer.
Yeah.
You know, and so they come back
weekly and this and that. So if you do the sum up, if she doesn't have any clients and they're all leaving, thanks, Jenny, you were great.
Yeah.
You're not making money.
Yeah, and if her clients run low, or his clients, whoever they could misadvise you because they're running out of money, and just go, you know what, take this medication, come back next week. And let me know how that medication's doing for you. So now you're coping with a pill addiction, potentially, and you're just still on retainer coming back as a residual customer. So what Benda's saying is there's no guarantee. If I'm not mistaken,
100%. There's no guarantee.
He's saying
like
there's no guarantee that they're going to be ethical.
Cool, ethical. That's the word. Yeah.
That they're going to be ethical.
You might. I don't know. You might be lucky,
Yeah.
and you get one that is just trying to make sure that.
Yeah.
They're helping you.
Indeed. But to be as risk averse as possible is better for yourself if you can be accountable just for your choices, rather than behave as though you're helpless, but you have a role in the selection process.
100%.
So just try to be accountable for your choices. And that's how I was able to curb any sort of depression or sadness. And I don't want to necessarily make it about me, but I just want to say accountability is such a big deal. It's a very hard word for a lot of adults to swallow. A lot of adults want to go, no, I'm a victim of the patriarchy and I'm just subjugated. It's like, no, you chose a job that is in social services. It doesn't pay as much as a job that's in a technical field that requires a specialist, where only one person can do the job. So if you're a librarian, you're not going to get paid as much as someone that is an engineer. It has nothing to do with a pay gap or a wage gap. It's just your selection process. Be accountable for your choices. And if you are more suited in a social setting, or you choose jobs that are more social, don't blame other people for that. You know, because it's a great job to have. It's human to human, you know, but it's not something that necessarily requires, if a slip up happens, the whole ocean is going to get flooded from with oil because you messed up on a piston. So these are two different levels of technicalities that can affect the environment versus something domestic, which is still important, but know that's a massive difference. Environmental and person to person. So
and I guess what he said was perfect. Like you have to remember those things, and if you're willing to take accountability, and that's and again, he doesn't take away that it might help you, and for me, mine is simple. If it helps someone, that'd be great. I used to find that I took little steps. I chip away very, very little.
How was it for you? Did it help you, or do you feel like it?
For me, it helped me because I think people look at I used to do it. You look at everything, you're like, this is too big. So I say to people, and it's helped some people. A simple thing is you can't get out of bed. We'll just say that's the thing. You're in your bed, you're like, nah, something's happened, whether it's relationship, work, whatever it is, it's fucked your life. You want to stay in bed. It's been in bed 4 days. Yeah. I say, walk to your corner store. Just your corner store. Grab yourself just one drink and then jump back into bed. Yeah. You know what you did there? You literally got out of bed. Yeah. I know it's not far, but you're like, wow, you accomplished something tiny. And then tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to walk to the end of my street. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, I walked to the end of my street. Yeah. And then tomorrow, let's walk to that gym that you go at or just sign up. You don't even have to start the gym. Yeah. So every day you're doing something really tiny until you realize...
Micro steps.
Yeah.
And all these micro steps, every micro step counts. Yeah. Every little thing you do counts. And you have to reward yourself for every little step that you make. Yeah. I mean, even people that are trying to achieve something in a business or a career, if the only thing that you could do that day was pay for the web domain for your website, and that's all you had time for, that counts. Yeah. Everything counts, even if it's macro. Everything, and you have to be easy on yourself to know that you are still making active steps in the right direction that you want to go, because as long as you're actively trying to do something throughout the day, then you've accomplished something. 100%. Doesn't matter how big, how small, how many hours you put into it. If you only had strength to do something macro, even if it's writing down a note in your iPhone, and that note is just a reminder of something that's going to help you get to that next place, that counts.
That counts.
Be easy on yourself. Be very forgiving. Social media puts a lot of pressure on people to perform, because we end up looking at other people's highlights, and we can end up comparing our lives to someone else's highlight reels, when people are just only showing the good times. They're not showing the bad times, and which is a good thing, technically, because the world is already very challenging on itself, that it's better for people to just share,
see good things.
See good things and share good things. But just remember, these are only highlights, okay? 100%. You need to know that the wealthiest man in your city right now is stressed out about something.
Oh, man.
On some level. And it might be on a bigger level than you can even imagine. He might have more money than you, but he might be facing a lawsuit of some sort, or some sort of scandal, which is still unethical, shame on him. But it is a problem that if you were in his shoes and you were facing 15 years in prison, you probably wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
Or he lost someone close to him. Or he
lost someone close to him. He lost a relative. So you might see a Rolls Royce in the Instagram photo, but he just lost a grandparent. Yeah. And even though he looks happy on the social media and his personal life, he might be in ruin. So,
and even the most beautiful people, good looking, but he or she is going through her own situation, whether it's riches, whether it's beauty. Yeah. Like Kels is saying, which is perfect, is you just do not know what these individuals are going through behind closed doors.
Yeah, and on a day-to-day basis, even your everyday life, one of your neighbors can't figure out how they can pay their rent. Trust me, there's somebody on your street right now that does not know how they're going to pay their rent. There's another person on your street that has a relative in a hospital. Yeah. There's someone else on your street that had a flat tire that day. Everybody's going through something. So what I mean by that is, if everyone's going through something, that actually should be comforting to you, to let you know we're in this together.
Oh yeah, that's what I use actually. That's my other thing I use.
We're in this together. Everyone on some level is dealing with something. So you're not by yourself. Yeah. And that should be a huge relief to you, so that you don't feel like you are isolated on your own island. So back to Jason David Frank, this particular actor, he apparently ended his life due to a divorce situation. And so what I found with a lot of men and women go through mental health issues in a very different way. And we go through heartache and breakups in a very different way. A lot of times women, when they go through a breakup, they already have a support system there for them that's already set up. It's an infrastructure that's already there. Sometimes it's an unhealthy infrastructure that's set up there, but they always have people
People
there
that,
for
yeah,
them.
like ready to
So
go.
you'll have guy mates that are ready to rub your back and tell you what you want to hear because they've been waiting their turn.
Mm-hmm.
You have your queer mates, that might be, there just to tell you, no, you go, girl, he's wrong. You'll have your female mates that will lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. They might not tell you the truth.
But they'll be like, you were right.
Yeah, you're right, girl, whatever you're doing. You go for you.
Yeah.
You get your freedom. You do what's right for you. But they'll tell him, oh, no. You do what's right, mister. But they'll tell her, no, you do what's right for you, girl. It's two different statements. So women are very socially apt, and they tend to have these support units already around them. Men generally don't. Well, when we go through heartaches and breakups, we're independent thinkers for the most part. And what I mean by that is that we don't like to show other men that sometimes that we're down.
Yeah.
We don't have much of a brotherhood around us. And so it's important that we try to build brotherhoods around each other of good men.
Yeah.
That, you trust and that you can keep in
100%.
contact with. You got solid mates that are going to be there for you and that you can trust with your words and things that you're saying, and they're not just out for their own best interest, but you got good dudes. So, and I'm thankful for Benda.
I'm thankful for Kels.
Thank you. Humbling. And men, be thankful for the good mates that you do have around. And if you feel like you might be missing some solid mates in maturity, find you some good solid mates that are actively trying to self-improve their life.
Yeah.
Bender, when I met him, he was actively working on his life and his dream and his goals. He met me. I was actively working on my dreams and goals. That's who you want around you. You want people that want to help you get to
set goals.
Yeah,
similarities.
similarities into the next phase of your life, and it's equal. You both want to see each other doing great.
Because I know gym guys, we're not like we gym, but we're not crazy gym guys.
Yeah.
And they meet gym guys, and I love that because they both want to get big. And they both love the gym, and they're both there trying to, I'd say build each other up.
Yeah, they're trying to achieve these goals together. Even if people find it to be superficial from an insecurity standpoint. I think you'll see it on dating apps. You'll see ladies out say they don't want to see men that are doing gym selfies and gym photos. But really, what that is that generally for me it comes from people that are very insecure about their own physical appearance, because what it says about a man that's in the gym, the cool thing what it says about them is that they have the discipline to focus and get their bodies in good shape, that it shows that they're willing to commit, and I think if there was a wise person or lady that might be interested in those type guys, they would pick up on that beyond just the physical things, that it is a dating app, or these are dating scenarios that men want to look good, and men want access to being chosen, so they show the best of themselves so that they get chosen. And it's not because the men are being sleaze bags, but it's trying to say, hey, I've got some discipline to myself. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not obese and eating Doritos, and I've got Cheeto fingers with a video game remote in my hand, and I'm on the photo.
I think also I've never heard a guy be like, don't want to see any girls.
That are fit.
No fit girls. I'm
fit girls.
Come on, no guy has ever said that. But to say that about a dude, you have to ask yourself, why don't you like a guy that's working out? Is it yourself?
Yeah.
So for men, I say don't even worry about that.
Don't even worry about it.
You keep working out.
Stick to your fitness.
It's gonna help you, and studies even show people who do fitness, it actually helps your mental health.
It helps your mental health. And this is what Andrew Tate was talking about. It's a good segue to go into it, because I did mention him earlier.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate, with the word depression, he said depression isn't real, because he said you shouldn't give belief into things that take power away from you.
I said feeling depressed is real, but the idea that depression is going to strike you in your mind and there's nothing you can do about it, I think that is promoting helplessness amongst depressed people, and that's the reason they kill themselves. I don't think that making people helpless in an unfortunate situation is the great thing to do. You have to give people hope. And I explained that when you believe in something, you give it power. So I tried to say that when I felt at my lowest and I achieved the most I've ever achieved in my life, The reason I was capable of doing that is because I didn't believe in the paradigm of being a depressed person. I just believe that this is how I currently feel, and fuck it, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my life to be better. And I gave a very simple example, an analogy. I said, if you take two people, one believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You put them both in haunted houses. And in the middle of the night, there's a bang. The person who believes in ghosts is now terrified. There's a ghost. They're calling an exorcist. They're panicking in the room. They're hiding. The person who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind and goes back to sleep. It's the same noise. It's the same scenario. But it's the belief
that's powerful
in their mind that terrifies and ruins their life. It's the belief in their mind that turns against them. And I've said this many times. Listen, let's assume you're correct and that makes me wrong. Let's say that you're right and you're depressed. Why would I want to adopt the thinking of a man who is sad? Why would I want to think like you? Wouldn't it better to be wrong and be happy and have a sports car and a yacht and a private jet? You want to talk about right? Look at your life. Why? I don't talk about right and wrong. Let's talk about success and results. I don't believe in things that take power from me. I never have. So when people email me and they start saying, I'm depressed. And what's funny is this. I talk to them and they desperately defend the idea of depression. I'm like, my friend, you just told me you're too depressed to be successful and depression has destroyed your life and you lost your girl. I'm telling you that enemy, the enemy in your life isn't real. And you're now sending me 10 emails a week trying to convince me that your enemy is a real thing. Why are you sticking up for your enemy? This person, whatever it is, this idea destroyed you and you're putting your energy into defending it. I say, listen, you get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. Yeah. And I say, that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability. Now you have performance. It's a cop out. Fuck it off. I don't give a shit if it's real or not. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses. Stop defending the thing that's ruined your life and get to fucking work. And every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them's transformed their lives and messaged me positive messages afterwards. Every single fucking time. That's why I'm antidepressant. Because that pill ain't going to fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is going to fix you. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything, including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage, I take responsibility for that. If something happens to me that makes me enraged, I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position? Is this healthy in this scenario? And sometimes it is. I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged, and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. Mm-hmm. So emotions are feedback, but stoicism is the ability to process them. And that's what you need to be learn as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life is when everything was going wrong. When my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't do prostitutes. I don't do anything that hedonistic. But I'll certainly go on the yacht with a bunch of women I know and chill and have some vodkas and that kind of thing. When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong, or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel, or bad things are happening, that's when I'm like, okay, I currently cannot sleep. I've completed the day's tasks. I've tried to go to bed. I can't sleep. More shit has to get done. That's when the amazing things happen in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, everyone's been heartbroken. I can't remember a specific example. I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong with your payment processor, that's when you get fucking inventive. That's business, right? That's when you get inventive. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy. So is depression. So is rage. So is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like people talk like Bruce Lee says, be like water. And people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water, right? So if I'm enraged, it's like water behind a dam. You just got to put the dam in place, and you got to get the turbo, the hydroelectrics put in. Don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere. And this is the most beautiful thing about it, because people message me all the time like, oh, but Tate, you don't know how sad I feel. No, incorrect. I know exactly how sad you feel. Difference is I used it. And you're sitting here still crying, some random guy on email for the fucking 3rd month in a row. That's the difference between you and me, my friend. I was becoming a world champion kickboxer. I got to a point, people often talk about depression and say I don't understand it. I will say, listen, there's been times in my life where I was fully functional as an adult. I would never label myself depressed because I don't believe in the idea of labeling myself in a negative, because I don't believe in things that take power from me, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's been times in my life where I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. There's been times in my life where I went to fight a man for money, and I didn't give a shit if I lost and even woke up again. Didn't give a fuck. I had nothing worth living for. I was brokey, didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any fucking money, got a 2-day call to fight some world champion, had to lose 10 kilos in 2 days, had nothing else going for me, got on a plane to Dagestan and fucking won. There's been times I've done that. By all conventional wisdom, I was depressed. I was suicidal. But I was just like, no, I don't give a shit. And that's when I was at my most powerful. Now if I get that call, I'm like, bro, I got a new car outside and shit.
I'm not going to Dagestan, bro.
Going to where? Sorry, how much money? Nah. But back then I was like, yeah, cool. Who is he? Oh, this guy. All right, fine. I didn't give a fuck. I was most powerful when I was sad, when I was depressed, when all these things.
And depression is something that takes power away from you if you believe that you're in this condition that, you are helpless and you can't help yourself.
100%.
You can feel helpless.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you can't help yourself. You can help yourself.
Because
you have to change your
mind
your
is
mind
such a strong thing.
Yeah.
I think what I agree with what Kels and what Andrew Tate and other people even said in the past is your mind is so strong. I've been in places where I've literally been like, nah. And then I've gone, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing anything. I'm starting off with telling myself I can do it.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Like there are times where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym, which is something simple.
Yeah.
But if I keep telling myself, I can't go to the gym, I can't go to the gym, I can't do it.
Yeah, you're doing.
Well, how do you think you're gonna get there?
Yeah, you're doing negative mantras in your brain. You're not gonna get yourself anywhere.
No. It's impossible.
So you have to purport good mantras and good words, because words have power.
Yeah.
Words have power of what you say, and it helps you as a motivator to help you move in the right direction. If you say words that are in belief and affirming that you're worthy of good, you need to find yourself and say you are worthy of good, because we all are. Mm-hmm. All of us are worthy of good. All of us are worthy of being loved. All of us are being worthy of being treated correctly.
Yes.
So Andrew Tate says, don't give belief into things that take power away from you. And another thing he was saying is that with the depression isn't real, is to go in the gym. If you go in the gym, you'll build a strong body, and by building a strong body, it creates a strong mind, because it requires discipline for you to build yourself, and it requires you to think and achieve and overcome. So you're not only is your body getting in strength, but your mind state is also getting in strength. And the same with running. If you do any running or
I did track.
Running and fitness.
You beat a PB when you do that. When I did track, I don't know about other fitness people out there. I can't talk on the gym. I just do gym.
Track star.
I'm a runner. I'm a track star.
Usain Bolt. Yeah, that's a classic song.
He was running from a cop car, jumping over that gate, gonna leave a big scar. Feel like GTA with like 3 stars. Try to get away, but he ain't get far. Woo, 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 woo.
We might play it.
I did mine, and I was a sprinter.
Yeah.
And I did high jump as well.
Some African genes, son.
Can I say, baby?
African genes,
Can
son.
I say, baby? For us, and it's the same for long distance runners. You hit a mark where you hit your PB, and endorphins are created. These happy chemicals are naturally created. The reason why I don't drink coffee, I don't smoke, because my endorphins are created off things like that. So when I was in high school and leaving high school, I beat my PB. I'm like, holy wow, this is crazy. And in turn, I didn't realize it was good for my health, which in turn was good for my mental health, because I'm not thinking about what Jamie is doing on Instagram. I'm thinking about how I can better myself.
Yeah. Totally.
How can I beat myself? One guy.
You're only in competition with yourself. You're not battling the rest of the world. There's some people that might make you feel like you're less than them, or make you feel like you're in competition with anyone. I've always told people I've never felt like I was competing against anyone.
Yeah.
Even other actors, I've told them like, hey, I know you might think that like we're a competition, but I want to see you win or whatever, especially if you want to see me win. You know, I don't wish bad upon anybody. I wish you the best. But you're no one else's competition but yourself. So the challenge that we all face is overcoming ourselves. And running, I find it is a challenge with that because it's like Nike. Nike says just do it. And so when you're running, you almost have to blank out any thoughts and just
run.
Go.
Oh.
Enjoy the process. Go.
You don't think about it. For me, it was heaven. I used to.
Because if you start thinking, you'll slow down and you'll stop.
Yeah.
You'll stop. So my acting coach has a very like powerful saying. He says, when you're in your head, you're dead.
Oh.
So whenever you're in your head, you stop and you hesitate and you create problems for yourself. Don't be in your head. Just do. Just be.
Yeah.
You know, shouts to Michael Cicinti. I appreciate that. You know.
But 100%, that is 100. The nail on the head is, if there's anything people can take from this is, like whatever you do in life, just be there in the moment, and if you're not thinking too much about it, and you're just doing, you'll realize like, wow, because like you said, imagine if I was thinking while I was running, I wouldn't be running 10 seconds, 11 seconds.
You slow down.
Because I slow down.
When you operate on they call it operating on fear. When you operate on fear, you can break down an acronym as false evidence appearing real. So you make up things in your head that actually hasn't existed, and out of you making up things in your head, you start getting in panic about things that actually hasn't occurred. You start worrying about things. Danger is real.
Yes.
You can trip and you can fall, but unless it happens, then you're okay. So what they tell you, instead of operating on fear, operate on awareness.
Yeah.
And awareness is what you have when you drive a car. If you drive a car and you're in fear and you're making up stuff,
Bro,
you're
gonna crash.
You're gonna crash.
You're gonna crash, man.
You're gonna crash. So you
you're
have to look left, look right. Okay,
Stay
coast
calm.
is clear, lights green. Okay, go. That's how you meant to operate in life to move forward.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So with mates and with people that you have around you, specifically for men, because I know it is harder for men who tend to not have a social unit, social circle. If there's 5 tips we could give people that will help improve their social circles and when they're going through a hard time, I would say 1 is get you a good solid group of mates around you who are actively working towards something important.
Yeah.
Working towards a goal to improve their life, actively working towards it, not just talking about it, but then making, even if macro steps, they're making macro steps, and get together and find ways that you can help each other. You can get to a destination a lot faster with 5 guys on both sides of the canoe, pedaling, or 6,
just by
more than
myself.
1 by himself doing a circle.
100%.
You know, so find some good people around you to build with. Another thing is when you're feeling like you're going through something, breakup in a relationship or something financial, find that one solid mate you can talk to and open up to that person and build a pact with each other that, hey, we're going to be here for each other.
No matter what.
No matter what. Because life is hard, and it's better to get through life with a tribe rather than doing it on your own. So make a pact to talk to each other about things that you're going through and your problems. What I would say is expression saves lives. In the African American community, that's what saved our community. Was during, even while we were in poverty and slavery, we came up with gospel music, and we were forced with Christianity. It was pushed on us, but we assimilated to it, and we found these Christian songs to sing while we were working in the field and picking cotton. Or even in poverty, you know, we came up with rhythm and blues. They called blues because people were blues during the Great Depression, no money. And then we came up with hip hop in times where, you know, we found ways to subdue the poverty that we were living in during the 1970s, and, you know, neighborhoods being flooded with drugs and heroin, and we had lost a lot of our African American unity. So we tried to find new ways of art to help sustain and keep our joy.
My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. That is your body, I got you. That's how she is.
Even in Brazil, for example, during their hard times, they came up with Carnival. Carnival was something that they developed out of the fact that these Africans that had got brought in from Angola to Salvador and Brazil, they decided to come up with Carnival to celebrate their people and their Afro-Brazilian heritage and make it fun times. And samba dance came out of that, because they were like, we're gonna, even though we're poor and we're impoverished, we're gonna find ways to celebrate and make our life beautiful with the least amount of things that we have. And also capoeira, Brazilian martial arts, was birthed out of that hardship in the slave trade when these African slaves got brought from Angola to Brazil in order to rebel against the slave plantation owners in Brazil for the sugarcane. They decided to defend themselves and hide it through a dance. And that dance also helped them to have the ability to defend themselves and express themselves, you know? So,
out of hardship, beautiful things can be made.
So expression is very important. It's important that you talk to your mates, that you talk to each other, and you talk to your peers. So those are two things. And I think those are honestly the most important two things. But if there's another, maybe 3 that I can add, I would say don't rely on substances to try to cope. As a coping mechanism that is temporary. You can use alcohol and then the next day end up dead broke because you got drunk, you went on a binge or a bender, as they like to call it, or a bender. You know, that's a bender right there. You go on a bender, you're going to have a good time. That's right, ladies. But anyhow, holler at your boy. But don't go on an alcohol binge or some sort of substance abuse, because that's temporary. You can get drunk, and there's so many Kiwis that do that. It's very common in New Zealand that they live for their weekends, they get drunk, they spend a bunch of money, and by Monday morning they're broke. Yeah, they're dead broke because they got, you know, they're trying to cope with their life, and some of them are trying to escape from their apartments, escape from their marriages and stuff. And this is why so many divorces happened during the pandemic. It was because a lot of couples that weren't used to being together were forced to cohabitate, and they had to actually deal with each other in a closed setting. And there's still people to this day, they live hiding behind vacations or substances and things of that sort without making sure that their actual domestic at home life is okay. So try to sort your problems, put your money and your finances towards resolving your problems. And it doesn't mean you're enjoying life less. You're just being more responsible than resorting to something that's going to temporarily make you feel dizzy, which doesn't help the problem go away, and or could potentially kill you. So it's better to put your finances in something that's gonna actually help eliminate the issue, and find a more healthier way to enjoy your time. Have a good meal once you pay a bill, you know, or once you send a transaction towards some sort of debt or anything that you need to clear in your life, you know, or relationship things.
I think 4, I was going to say, just celebrate the little things. Always remember to celebrate the little things.
Yes.
You know, it sounds not that crazy, but just when you're chipping away at those little things, don't forget that you are worthy of the celebration, big or small. So if you can just remember to do that, give yourself a pat on the back, be like, I did it, this was amazing. You might find like, wow, like I'm an amazing human.
And number 5, what I would say for number 5 is the best thing that you can do when you're going through any sort of obstacle is to do your best to not live as a prisoner of your past. You're not a prisoner of your past. Every lesson that you go through is a learning period for you. It's a learning moment. And so your past doesn't define you. It actually helps sculpt you into the beautiful statue that you're meant to be. And
100%.
and bear in mind, because humans like relatability, me and Bendo talked about that earlier when it comes to sharing our problems and things that we're going through and that comparison thing. Sometimes the people closest to you might not, that you've known all your life, may not want to recognize the change that you have in you, or even the growth that you have in you. And it's not because of anything other than people like a reference point of how they remember you at one point in their life. So your parents, for example, might still view you as
a child,
as their son. Your neighbors might still view you as the guy that came over or the girl that came over when you were 5 or 6 years old, and you borrowed something and you never returned it. So there's some people that will try to cage you up and box you up according to your
where they met you,
where their past is, where your past is. Yeah. And a lot of times people do that for one of two reasons. One reason people will hold your past against you is because they themselves haven't grown past that point in their life. They haven't grown past that stage in their life. So they're actually mentally and maturity-wise, they're still stuck in that point in time. So that's even people that you've gone through a relationship with, an ex partner that you had, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, depending on whatever your situation is. But your ex partner may view you from sometime in 2007 or 2009, and they try to hold you to that because it makes them feel better. To go, oh no, that's who you are, and that's all you're ever gonna be. Mm-hmm. And you've actually grown way beyond that. And they haven't moved past that point in their life. And their relationship that they're currently in is somewhat still defined in that fear of that relationship that you were in that time period. Yeah. You're not responsible for their personal growth and their development. You're responsible for your role in that relationship at that point in time. Yeah. But if you did your best to be apologetic about it and about who you were at that time, then you've done everything you can do. You can't hold yourself responsible if someone wants to view you from this lens of 5, 10, 15 years ago.
You ain't got a time machine.
No. So that's one reason why people may hold your past against you. And the second reason why people might hold your past against you is because they can't currently benefit from where you are right now. Yeah. So if you're doing well in your life right now, they might not want to acknowledge that you're doing well because they're not there. Yeah. So they'll just go, oh yeah, he thinks he's doing good, but I know the real him. Yeah. And it's just because they can't actually be involved in your present life to actually enjoy the rewards of your success and where you might have moved on to. So those are two reasons why people might hold your past against you. But that would be number 5, is that you're not a prisoner of your past. Don't allow anyone to box you as a prisoner of your past in your mind. They can box it up themselves for them and in their own psyche, but don't let that affect your own psyche and your own state of mind to be a prisoner based upon someone else's decision to view you through a time capsule. You're much more than a time capsule. It's 2022, going into 2023, new stages, new levels. And so, yes, you have the opportunity to create something beautiful for yourself. Yeah.
That was perfect.
Definitely. And one last thing, I want to shout out through Jason David Frank's family. I wish them much strength and much power for, the actor, Power from, Power Rangers, and I wish them the best. That man loved his family, and he took his life apparently behind a dispute with his wife. And men love, we love idealistically. And we love idealistically because men love from a very pure place. When we love a woman, we love her not for what she can provide, it's for what we see that she can be to us. So it's it's almost one of the purest forms of love because it's not 100% conditional. It's almost the least conditional because we believe in the idea of that person. Sometimes women at times can be love opportunistically. Rather than men who we love idealistically. Women can love opportunistically for what we can provide. And if we stop making her feel good, she might want to leave to go get another feeling or experience from the next guy.
This is why RP awareness, being red pill aware, is so fucking important, guys. Because when you understand female nature, You understand why women behave the way they do, why women act the way they do, why women make the, sexual selections that they do. It's a lot easier to understand. A lot of the times when guys do certain things to themselves because of females, it comes from a lack of knowledge or a lack of awareness. This is why this type of content, man, needs to fucking spread like wildfire. It's not to make you guys misogynist. It's not to make you guys angry. It's not to make you guys resent women. It's so that you guys can understand women and, most importantly, understand what they'll never fucking be to you, which is what they won't ever be to you guys, is an idealistic lover that's going to love you unconditionally. Let me tell you, motherfucker, son. When's the last time a bitch committed self-deletion because a guy broke up with her?
Oh shit! Let me see. Never. I don't know. Shit, I don't. If I do, it's not in the news.
Yeah,
I never see it.
Yeah. You guys want to know why? Because women naturally, by the way, look at men as expendable commodities. Naturally, women understand that they need to get their needs met. They're hardwired to get their needs met through a man, and they're okay with that man being replaced at any time once he can no longer fulfill her needs. Bruffel's Law, motherfuckers. Look it up. There's a reason why women don't hurt themselves because of a breakup. 9 out of 10 times. They might get sad a little bit, right? Especially if the guy initiates a breakup, but they ain't committing no fucking self-deletion.
You know why?
They're not.
Someone else is there.
Someone else is there. Exactly. There's always another fucking sip right there ready to go. I got you, baby. Yeah.
I'll take you out.
And she'll like that motherfucker. She just ends up using him for some attention, whatever. Then she goes to the guy that's like me that's saying you're fucking dumb on a date. Yep. That's how it goes. Okay, guys? Women cannot respect men that are lower than them or at their level. They want a guy that's better. So what I'm saying is this. Women naturally have an abundance mindset. Okay? You need to earn that abundance mindset. You guys want to know why I got banned off fucking TikTok, 2 years ago now at this point?
Misogyny.
The reason why is because I said shit like this. Women deserve less. And I'm not kidding around when I say this shit. In today's day and age, they deserve less. And the reason why is because a lot of you motherfuckers give them more. So I gotta come in and give them less because you idiots want to give them more when they haven't fucking earned it. That's why they come in this fucking podcast, act crazy, say the dumb shit that they say. I tell them, yo, you gotta leave. Bitches still sitting here and commit crimes on 1080p. This should prove to you guys that Western women are fucking lost.
So in the United States, 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And this is why you see Kanye West, who spent the last 2 years fighting for his family. He's been subpoenaed to court 3 times. He had a court appearance a few days ago and he didn't show up for it. And it's been going on for 2 years. But I think at this point, he's kind of ready to accept that Kim won't come back, maybe potentially for the benefits she can get from the divorce.
Yeah.
But because family court and divorce court is often not in men's favor, and it has a huge effect on a man's mental health. A man can take his life behind that because it can wreck and ruin a man's life, especially if he's already in financial dire straits or he's not in the best place. Family for us is all we have. Men have a huge social responsibility to take care of family. If the family fails safety-wise, financially-wise, the man is viewed as responsible.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do about that. If it's divorce or cheating, then they might look at the lady or both parties. But 80% of divorces are initiated by women, and it's unfortunate because a lot of society right now at this point is pushing for women to choose themselves over their families, choose their own self-gratification and potential Sex in the City experience of seeing if the grass is green on the other side and eat, pray, love over their own family. And traditional women or feminine women in the likes of, say, like the Queen of England, people hold in prestige. They hold her in prestige because she is the queen. She's there for her family. That is what true femininity is, and that's where your power is. Your power is being able to be the anchor for your family. Women are viewed as the anchor for the family, essentially, in a lot of different ways.
One of the most important things for women is understanding that even though you're the queen, you're still the king's wife. Your value is in the ability to keep a high-value man. I'm sorry that you don't like that, but that's how the world looks at it. And again, I deal in reality. You can be an accomplished woman, but if you're 40, unmarried, no children, the world looks at you as something's wrong. You are judged heavily on the caliber of man you can keep. Not get, not deal with, but keep.
And both genders complement each other, obviously, because that's what it takes, both genders to have a family, have a baby. It's a requirement that both genders come together in order for life to be birthed, regardless of what gender identity you identify as. But there's beauty in that companionship, and so people, please don't forget that this man might have taken his life because he wanted to show this is how much I loved a person, which is still not the healthiest way to do things, because you leave behind a trail of devastated people, families, hearts behind it. Not just his family, with his wife and his daughters, because I think he has 4 daughters if I'm not mistaken.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody? Just got done walking this red carpet, and we're here right here representing, Dragon Ball Z, all my friends, Sean, Vic, Chris, everyone that's working on this movie. You guys are amazing.
So proud of y'all.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. We had a good time, and it's not over yet. It's just beginning.
It's just beginning.
This is our second red carpet event in a pretty short period of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you, Bob, at the studio. Is there a Bob?
I think it's a Jim.
Jim? Jim. Back to you, Jim.
Bye.
But also his extended family, his mom, his cousins, his in-laws. I would do my best to tell people to not do that, because it can be viewed as selfish, but we understand mental health is a very challenging thing to deal with, and so that's why we want men to express themselves, and I also want families to remember the importance of family, because wealthy families understand that, but families that are in poverty right now are being promoted for people to be that you don't need a man, you don't need anyone, you can be by yourself. And it's sort of set up that way in family court and systematically and through divorce. It's in a lot of women's favor. So it's very tempting for them to choose their experiences and opportunities over staying down with your family for a bigger purpose and for a bigger cause. And that's what the Queen of England understands. You notice she's not out marching on any street for abortion rights. She's trying to keep her family together, and that's all she tried to do before she passed away. So people, please keep your families together. Stay with each other. Life is hard. Inflation is massive right now in the world. Everyone's going through a hard time financially, and the way that the world is being directed with the World Economic Forum and governments right now, there's a huge squeeze going on the population. So we need each other, all right? So that's what I wanted to say in closing. And shout outs to you men out there and to you ladies out there trying to keep your families together. And just remember, we all need each other. We can't screw each other over for our own self-benefit and gain and experiences. There's bigger things than ourselves. We have children in mind, so it's for the next generation. Love you guys.
Yes, sir. Everything you said is perfect.
Thank you, man.
I want to say, yeah, exactly. Everything you said
Long
was
ramble,
perfect.
but sorry.
It was perfect.
This will be labeled as Kelvin's rant.
Fucking love you guys. Again,
love you guys, dude.
Just hit up a friend, and just know you're not alone.
Yes. That's the one, son.
Peace out.
Peace out. A-Town. We're not doing A-Town. I'm not from Atlanta.
Yeah, you are.
Virginia. That's right. Love you guys. We out.
Slow down, my love, slow down, no rush, my love, we can move at the speed of sound, how about we enjoy right now, baby, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, my love, slow down, no rush, my love, slow down.
Welcome. Tonight, a special report on Dude News. Hi guys, we're back. I know that was a little fast. This is just a post-credits update on Jason David Frank. We found out some more details surrounding his passing, and unfortunately, what we came to learn was that he was served some divorce papers at a Comic-Con event in Texas. And that was surrounding around the allegations of cheating and infidelity. And I was just baffled. I just wanted to let people know, along with this video, that if you know anyone that is facing any sort of mental health issues, or maybe perhaps on the verge of contemplating self-deletion or anything of that sort, in New Zealand, we have a number called 988. That is a Ministry of Health assistance line for anyone that is feeling sort of on the verge of any sort of self-harm. And if also we have Life Matters and Lifeline. These are also two New Zealand companies you can contact if you're not based in New Zealand or wherever you are in the world. I'm sure there is a national health service line for any sort of self-harm or self-deletion or any kind of any thoughts that may inflict on yourself or on others. So mental health is something very important, and it's also something that's very taboo within the male community. And that's why me and Benda ourselves took it upon ourselves to speak on different situations involving life, pop culture, and most importantly, just different aspects of social dynamics that men and women both need to understand about each other and our biological differences. Now, George Clooney, for example, is a man that is lauded, he's praised by multiple women because he's a very handsome young man. But what got George Clooney to be a bachelor for the many years that he was a bachelor was due to one heartbreak that he experienced very early in his life. And due to that heartbreak, he had determined that he no longer wanted to risk his mental health, his peace of mind to be involved with someone in a romantic setting. And so he stayed single for a number of years just so that he can give himself the opportunity to concentrate and focus and let his career flourish. And now he's happily married, and in whatever circumstances that may be, or whatever kind of wedding arrangement or marriage arrangement that they have. You see couples together for 20, 40 plus years, but you never know what their arrangements are. And right now in modern day times, I think couples and males and females, we've lost sight of what it means to be in a companionship and what we both need biologically, and these differences that we have that are biological and they are different from each other. So what I mean by that and what I'm saying is that, for example, the obstacles that Will Smith has gone through, Johnny Depp has gone through, Phil Hartman, who's a comedian in the 90s, Phil ended up being murdered. And they both all three of them come from the star sign, they're Libras. So, and I know star signs are somewhat of a mystique to some people, but there's some truth to a bit of it. You know, it's not an excuse for your behavior per se, but that particular star sign doesn't like confrontation. So when you would see Johnny Depp in a situation, he would exit because he didn't like confrontation. Same with Will Smith, exact same story. He didn't like confrontation. And the very dangerous part about those types of relationships, which can be volatile and very abusive, is that you both need to know your biological differences. And there's a lot of men that are grown up in single parent homes that have no idea of how to go about love and relationships, what a woman wants, what a man wants, and how to bring that together so you both know your roles and you both can perform to the best of your ability. So with that being said, I just want to reach out and thank everyone who took the time to watch this video. Shouts to the late Pua, who was also a Power Ranger based in New Zealand, and he was the Red Ranger, and he ended up taking his life behind the same circumstances. Literally behind the same circumstances, that it was due to a domestic dispute and ongoing arguments that were taking place. Now, when men get upset, we defend ourselves physically. That's why we're more prone to following through with any sort of self-harm, which is not a good thing. But we are very physical in nature. Women, the way that they defend themselves is mental. So, therefore, in a domestic situation, if a woman is unhappy and she gets mentally aggressive with a man, he doesn't know how to take it. He doesn't know how to cope with it. So you might see him get angry. He might punch a wall. He might, unfortunately do something terrible where, he may cross the line and put his hands on his partner, which is unacceptable. But the reason why he may have engaged in that sort of way is because he doesn't know how to cope with being mentally attacked. And so if someone cheats on a spouse and someone's repeating to them, oh, you cheated on me, you piece of crap, you cheated on me. And they go around and they mentally are aggressive to not just the man, but they socially will try to ruin his life and his relationships or through divorce. These things can push men over the edge. So it's very important for men to learn about what we call red pill knowledge or manosphere, however you want to put it. You have to know these differences between men and women. Otherwise, you are a target. You have to know your worth. All of these men that I'm talking about, these are men that were built themselves up and they forgot who they were because they're in that relationship because of who they were. Men build themselves up to a certain standard and a certain value. And with that being said, for this reason, this is why men have a very hard time with fidelity and I would say being exclusive in a relationship, because we build ourselves up so that we get chosen, so we have options, and so we spend our lives trying to make a name for ourselves. And that's why George Clooney stayed single for as long as he did, because he built himself up to be of worth. And when that with that comes, and with coming with that in ancient times, a gladiator. This is why gladiators or any sort of kings or any man that was a leader always had a harem or harem of ladies, not harem of ladies around them. But yes, so as you just saw with Adam Levine and his situation regarding some sort of infidelity, this is why his wife was able to accept him for who he is, because she was attracted to him based off the fact that he built himself up. And so why would she torture him for that beauty she found in him? And so for this reason, you know, couples have to come to their own arrangements, their own agreements, and you have to ask about these values early on. All right, guys? So what I would suggest to you guys is stay knowledgeable, stay researching, stay going through your personal development, whether that's male or female, learning your differences, which makes you able to coexist. And the reason why some of these marriages last as long as they do, sometimes in these old school relationships, the man would have a woman way across town. The wife would know about it, but they would never discuss it because she's like, he takes care of me and we're at home. And it's not about a matter of you don't need each other because you have the advent of being a taxpayer and working a job, but life is meant to be shared. And biologically, you look crazy at a certain point in time if you remain single and you're blaming everyone in the past and the patriarchy and men, or whatever the case may be, or if it's women as well. So salute to everybody out there. Men, if you have any questions, feel free to DM us on IG and we'll get back to you. Anything of that nature. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. And there's hardly any refuge for men. There's plenty of refuge that is out there for women. I think in New Zealand, the only thing they have is an organization called She's Not Your Rehab, which is sort of for men that have addiction problems and might go to a woman and they're saying she's not the proper person to go to for therapy. But there's no guidance for them being able to give men tools from what I've seen of things as far as how for men to go about their lives and coexist and how to be accountable. And maybe they teach these things, maybe they don't, but we're here to try to do our part to enlighten people to become more familiar and more interested in self-development to be able to get to that point. So guys, love you, and that's out. Dudes Brewing. Peace.